Wars Underworld was George Lucas's unmade live-action Star Wars series. The show was going to be set in the gap between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. Lucas first announced the series at 2005's Celebration 3, a convention celebrating the release of Revenge of the Sith. Over the next few years, a variety of writers were hired. Over 50 scripts were written and art designers worked on visualizing Lucas's idea. However, in 2010, Lucas announced that the series was on hold due to budget constraints. The series was going to be set in the underworld of the planet of Coruscant. George Lucas told audiences that the show would not focus on any characters from the films, but that some of them could appear. A lot of the issues from the films would be connected, i.e. the Empire, but would not necessarily see a lot of the people that are connected. Lucas later described the show as bare bones and action heavy, and explained that it would depict what the inhabitants of the Star Wars galaxy do for entertainment, i.e. pod racing and holo chess. In the show, we also would have seen episodes based on Han Solo meeting Chewbacca, how Lando lost the Falcon, and an episode focused on a young Boba Fett. The show also would have shown new characters never before seen in the Star Wars universe. In the show, we were going to have an episode focused on a young, sympathetic Palpatine. In the episode, we were going to see a young Palpatine who would fall in deep love with a woman in the underworld of Coruscant. The woman, who would go on to break his heart, would cause Palpatine to turn to the dark side. Now, this is just my opinion, but I hate this idea. It completely destroys the mystery of the character and makes him feel cheap. I much prefer Palpatine being a character shrouded in darkness and mystery, a manifestation of pure evil and darkness, not some upset lover boy.
Once every 6 to 8 weeks, something like that, and we would break stories together, and then we'd go off and write some drafts and bring them back, and George and we would sit down and critique them and do another draft and then break more stories. And yeah, I mean, it went on for a year or something like that, a year and a half. It was great. It was a ball. It was a lot of fun. It was it didn't happen ultimately. We wrote, I'd say, somewhere in the 48 scripts, something like that. The theory was George wanted to write all the scripts and get them all done, and then he was going to go off and figure out how to produce them, because he wanted to do a lot of cutting edge technological stuff with CG and virtual sets and so on. So he had a whole new thing he wanted to accomplish. And what happened was, we wrote the scripts, and then George said, okay, this is enough for now, and then I'll get back to you. I want to look into all the production things. And then time went by, and a year or something after that is when he sold Lucasfilm to Disney. So I think he just decided, it was the confluence of those events of either getting into this giant new Star Wars live action TV show, or somehow, he just decided to sell the whole kit and caboodle.
Overall, I think the series could actually have been a pretty good idea, an expansive addition to the Star Wars universe. But would I rather have Underworld or the series we have now? I think I'd rather keep the shows we have now. Thanks for watching.